What is going on, people? Welcome back to yet another video, and today I'll be reviewing Slovenia. What a place, somewhere actually underrated beyond belief, that if you speak to someone about Slovenia, more than probably they haven't been there. So I am here to tell you everything about the country. So where actually is Slovenia? It's located in Central Europe. It actually borders Italy, it borders Croatia, it borders Austria, and it borders Hungary. So it borders 4 countries. It has some of the most amazing scenery and nature with jaw-dropping mountains and greenery everywhere. So that is one of the biggest reasons why I actually visited the country. Waterfalls everywhere as well, like valleys. It has everything. I went in August 2025 and the weather was unbelievable. It reached 25 to 30 degrees Celsius every single day. We got a tiny little bit of rain on one of the days when we did the kayaking, but apart from that, the rain was non-existent and the weather was unbelievable. So one of the most crucial things that you can do in Slovenia is, as soon as you arrive at the airport, rent a car out. That's exactly what we did, and it is essential if you want to see all the best places in the country. One of the things you got to be careful when you rent a car in Slovenia, if you're from the UK, they do drive on the other side of the road, so just be careful and remember it when you're driving. But as soon as you're locked in, then you kind of get used to this and it's absolutely fine. So where did we start our journey? We obviously started it at the airport, so we rented a car from the airport and travelled to Lake Bled to start with, and that was where our first accommodation was actually. So it was good location, it was a good timing, and yeah, everything kind of lined up for Lake Bled. There's actually a lot to do in Lake Bled as well. It's more than just a lake. There's hiking, there's tobogganing, there's ziplining. There's so much you can do, and I'm going to run you through these activities and I'll give them all a rating out of 10. So I'll start with like simple hikes. So we hiked around the whole lake, and that wasn't actually that far. I'm not sure the specific distance of it, but it didn't take us long, hour or two, and yeah, that was very nice, especially in, like I said, the hot weather, the nice weather, 25, 30 degrees, and even in the evening walks were really nice as well. There are actually other hikes you could do. There's hiking trails, as you can see on this video here. It takes you all the way up, so you get a view above Lake Bled, and when we got up the top, it was genuinely sensational. It was worth the trip, it was worth the hike. It actually wasn't a long hike. From my memory, it was between 30 and 40 minutes, the hike by itself. So definitely worth doing if you've got the time, if you've got the if you've got the effort to go up, especially in the heat. But yeah, it was an unbelievable experience, an unbelievable hike for us. So overall, I'd give the hiking probably an 8 out of 10. So it was solid, it was decent. Another thing you can actually do in Bled is tobogganing, and I'll show you a video of it now. It's called Soča Bled if you wanted to go, and I would actually recommend it. The only thing that was a negative with this was the queues. The queues were so long, it took us ages to simply get on the track. But once we got on it, it was fun, it was quick, it whizzed us around, and to be fair, it only lasted 30 to 60 seconds. So, you know, if you're going for stuff like that, then do it. But if you're not too bothered, maybe just skip it. But yeah, it was good fun. I'd definitely recommend it. And overall, again, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. So it's probably a good solid rating for me. But one of the scariest things was actually going up the ski lift to actually get up the top, like, because it was shaking. It was like that, and I was like, man, I don't do heights, and just looking down, like, I remember like looking down and just seeing, it was unbelievable because we were so high. And then yeah, another thing you can do in Bled is ziplining. We went to Zipline Dolinka, and this was probably the best activity we did in Slovenia. I am so scared of heights, like so scared of heights. Doing a zip line was the worst idea for me, and yet I still loved it. And I feel actually doing the zip line got me over my fears a little bit as well. It was a truly unbelievable experience, and I never thought I'd enjoy it so much. I can remember panicking the night before, and I was like, oh no, I can't do this. I genuinely cannot do this. But then we were like saying to ourselves, like, look, we've booked it now. We've got to do it. we've paid for it. We've booked this. Let's just do it. So we did it. We put our faith in the harnesses, put our faith in the zip line, and we were fine. And it was one of the best experiences, not just of Slovenia, but of my life. Like it was so fun. It was so good. The tour guide were amazing. The actual guides were amazing, and yeah, they knew what they were on about. They knew what they were doing. So if you go to Bled, if you go to Slovenia, make sure you book Zipline Delinka. It's actually the biggest zip line in Europe. That is a fun fact for you. From there, we went on to Lake Bohinj. We didn't actually spend too long here. We started walking around it and then turned back about halfway because it is, again, it's quite a big lake. So, and we were pressed for time that day because we had to then get to our next destination, which was, because we had a hotel booked somewhere else. So we then had to rush off. So we didn't have to spend, or we couldn't spend too long here. The maximum we could spend is like two hours, something like that. So we didn't have long. We had a little wander around, had a little look at the river, Lake Bohinj, the lake, sorry. And yeah, it was a really good experience, to be fair. So overall, I'd give Lake Bohinj probably, because we didn't spend too long there, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Now for Kranjska Gora. This is a village in Slovenia, which was actually our next destination after Bohinj. So it was one of the nicest villages I've probably ever been in. So we started off at this, so we parked up and started off at this waterfall. And yeah, it was just there. And so we just got in, we just enjoyed it, stood under the waterfall, got absolutely drenched. Which was nice because at this point it looked like it was about to start to rain, but it didn't in the end. So the clouds blew over, but we were probably going to get wet anyway. So we thought, oh, go on, let's just jump in the waterfall. So we jumped in the waterfall, a shallow one, not one that dropped off a cliff. I love water. Anywhere with water, it has won my heart. Whether that's a beach, whether that's a lake, whether that's a river, whether that's a sea, whatever that is, it has won my heart if it's got water. So that's a little travel tip for me, you know, go somewhere with water. So it had waterfalls, it had glacial water, which felt so cold. Like it felt so cold. By the time I actually got out, I'm not joking, my back was burning, it was that cold. And I think that is genuinely just to do with the glacial water. Because it's glacial water, it then burns your skin afterwards. But that was so cold, I cannot even explain how cold that water was. So I'd give Kranjska Gora probably like for a village, I'm giving that a 9 out of 10. That was such a good place. So we packed the bags, got in the car, and went for a trip to Triglav, which again is another phenomenal experience. So the thing that I remembered from Triglav the most, or near Triglav anyway, was the tiny roads. I'll put a little photo up right now of the route we had to take to actually get to, our next destination, because it was mind-blowing. Providing we were like staring off, I don't know how many feet it was down, but the cliff edge was like crazy. If we took one wrong turn, we would be unalived in seconds, let's just say that. But through these deep turns and edges, and you know, we had all the wildlife, and we turned up at this, I don't even know, just in the middle of nowhere, which was unbelievable. There was like no cars around, it was just us, and there was so many cows, and it was just like, it was just wildlife everywhere, and it was just such a nice natural place if you wanted to just chill out and admire wildlife there. There were mountains, there were views for miles. Like when you looked over the top of the cliff, you could just see bang straight down. Yeah, there were cows, there were animals everywhere. It was genuinely one of the most amazing experiences. And there was even a point where I didn't get this on record, but there was a cow that literally just like moved its head towards me, and like it was crazy, like how powerful they are. Like they could genuinely, like they could put you up like or probably like 50 feet in the air. Like they are that powerful. It's crazy. A tiny little nudge, and it felt like he was like pushing me like a mile. But yeah, it was crazy. So when we're talking about wilderness, I'm giving Slovenia, I'm actually, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 for wilderness. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 for nature. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 for views, because it's such an underrated country. People do not give it the credit it deserves for what it has. It is crazy. So at this point, we actually only had 2 more activities left. We had kayaking and we had a gorge to visit. The gorge was unbelievable. Like I said before, Slovenia's nature is beyond belief. People do not give it the credit it deserves. People overlook Slovenia as a place of just irrelevance. It certainly is not irrelevant. Just because it has a small population doesn't mean it's irrelevant. It is so relevant, and it is so beautiful everywhere you look in the country. When you get in the wilderness, when you see these gorgeous gorges, and when you see this gorgeous wildlife, you will truly appreciate Slovenia for what it truly is. And when you mix that with our final activity, which was kayaking in River Soča, it blows your mind. Because I'll put some videos up of the kayaking right now. It was a rainy day, it was a bit dull, but we still had hope because we were doing kayaking. And kayaking is one of the most underrated activities, I believe. It's one of my favourite activities to do. So yes, the water was so choppy at times, like it could genuinely like sweep you away. The current was strong and it just pulled you along the river so perfectly. And yeah, it was just good fun, really. And our tour guide was amazing. So things to know about Slovenia. I would say there's one big negative, which can be turned into a positive if you're smart about it. So the biggest negative about Slovenia is the fact that you do need a car. If you want to see all the best locations, if you want to see all the best places, if you're into admiring nature, then you will need a car. There is no 2 ways about it. Transport can be tricky if you want to go to all different places. Of course, you can go to the big places, like you can go to Bled, but if you want to get to other places like Triglav, if you want to get to other places, then you definitely need a car. Like, I'm not going to say like it's advised, like you will need a car. So I'm just going to be honest about that. Apart from that, I can't think of any other negatives to do with Slovenia. So maybe just that, really. And my final overall rating of Slovenia is a 9 out of 10. It's got to be up there with one of the best places I have ever been. Like, I've never been outside of Europe, but inside of Europe, it is up there. And I wouldn't actually argue with someone who said, is it your number 1 spot? And if I said yes, I couldn't argue with myself. Like, it is certainly top 5 that I've ever been to. So definitely put it on your list. Definitely add it to your bucket list, especially if you're an adventurous person. You have to do this. And next week I'm going to be reviewing the Bay of Naples, which is Sorrento, Naples, and I'm going to throw Pompeii in there as well. So make sure you stick around, make sure you subscribe if you want to see more travel videos like this.